It is not every day that you hear about someone being denied entry to Kris Jenner's estate, but when that person is Meghan Markle and she comes up without being invited, you can be sure that it is going to create a lot of commotion. It was a loud noise. It was just Meghan, a former princess and a present Hollywood question mark, pulling up like she still runs the show. However, the show has changed, and Hollywood does not issue out guest cards based on previous titles, especially not at Kris Jenner's gate. There was no warning, no text, and no heads up. All right, here's the situation. Meghan, who was under the impression that she could sneak her way into one of the most closely guarded empires in the history of celebrity, pulls what insiders are referring to as a friendly drop by. However, security didn't get the memo because there wasn't one, her name wasn't on the list, and even though her face might be on magazines, that doesn't mean it makes it past the front door. When Kris Jenner's security turns you around, it's not subtle. It is a message, one that makes it quite apparent that you are not a member of this group. And let's not pretend that this was merely a social visit. Meghan does not engage in casual behavior. Every action has a purpose. Each and every public appearance is a tiny piece of a much larger plot. For some time now, she has been circling around the Kardashian-Jenner universe, liking things, tagging accounts, and attempting to convey some kind of similar vibe. To be clear, Kris is not a checker player. He plays chess. She sees the game before you make your first move, and when you try to shortcut your way in, it doesn't seem good, especially when the optics are screaming. She sees the game before you make your first move. Meghan has continued to pursue significance as if it were slipping through her fingers, and it is possible that she is right. In the time since she and Harry resigned from their royal duties, she has experimented with a wide range of activities, including activism, production deals, podcasts, and red carpet moments. However, none of these endeavors have been successful, not in the way that she desired and not with the staying power that she desired. And now this is popping up at Kris Jenner's house without her having to make an announcement as if she still had that glow. It is not strategy, rather it is desperation, because the reality is that Meghan is having a hard time finding a location that is suitable for the palace that is located behind her. People in the United Kingdom are against it. And Hollywood, well, Hollywood has its own set of norms. You do not simply join the Kardashian family because you want them to build an empire by selecting each and every person who is permitted to be a part of their sphere of influence. When you join them, there is no concern with fame. Rather, it is about control and Kris. When it comes to discerning who gives value and who brings baggage, Jenner has mastered the art of knowing. Let's not mince words. There is more to Meghan than just her baggage. She is a source of controversy, headlines, and a reputation that is slowly transitioning from being misunderstood to being messy. There was a period when she was granted a golden pass due to her status as a queen, but now that pass has run out and people are beginning to treat her in a manner that is more appropriate. There will be no more assured front row tickets, no more invitations just because they are extended, and most certainly no more unexpected visits. This is not simply a matter of her being prevented. It is the meaning that it conveys. At this point, Meghan is knocking on doors that are no longer open. The woman who was once in the spotlight all across the world is now going through the motions of trying to borrow light from individuals who do not require her. Moving as if she were someone who is clutching to the brink of importance, she is doing so in the hope that someone, anybody, will reach out and pull her back in. On the other hand, this is not how things work. Not in this world, not in the world of Kris Jenner, since Kris is not just a reality TV television parent. She is the gatekeeper for the brand. She is aware of what contributes to the empire and what has the potential to bring it down. In addition, Meghan appears to be a public relations liability at the moment with no obvious benefits. She is the kind of wild card that you do not let through the door without first inquiring about what she desires and how much it would cost. If you show up without making a request, you will not be let in. You will be turned away with great force. When someone shows up at Kris Jenner's front gate without an invitation, the murmurs don't remain whispers for very long. Hollywood is not one to forget moves like these. The news is going around, and people talk about CEOs, public relations teams, agents, and even assistants. There's more to Meghan than just mishandling the bag. She's so confused that she has no idea where the bag is anymore. It's almost as if she's participating in a game in which everyone else is aware of the rules. But she continues to show up under the impression that her title is the ticket to enter. Adding insult to injury is the fact that Meghan is attempting to maintain two identities at the same time. However, on the one hand, she is promoting the image of a humanitarian by discussing issues such as mental health, feminism, and racial injustice. On the other side, she is sneaking into the direct message system of Hollywood power figures and tagging the Kardashians as if she were trying to get a spot on their group vacation. The two do not mix together. As a result of the fact that it is oil and water, people are beginning to recognize the paradox. It is not that Meghan cannot be both royal and relevant, serious and social. Rather, it is that her execution is off, and it is off in a very significant way. The way she is moving gives the impression that she is more concerned with being seen in the appropriate circles than she is with constructing something of consequence. In the event that this becomes the atmosphere that Hollywood seeks out. No one like trying too hard energy in this place. And it is especially unpleasant when it comes from someone who used to be on top of everything, but has now fallen from favor. It is frightful, not to mention the fact that this Kris Jenner episode is just another brick in the wall that is being constructed. People are laughing around her behind closed doors, not in a malicious manner, but in that awkward Hollywood way, the sort where they pretend to sympathize in public, then pass the memes around in private. This is the kind of laughter that is uncomfortable for Hollywood. Meghan has found herself at the center of a joke that she might not even be aware she is a part of. The worst part is that she's still behaving as if the next move is going to be the one that repairs everything, but nothing is fixing anything right now because her public relations game is out of sync. She is still playing it straight. Her links are becoming less numerous, and her strategy, if there is one, is distributing energy in a dispersed manner. Within a week, she's dropping hints about running for political office. Immediately after that, she will be tagging Kylie
Jenner in her Instagram stories. What you have here is not diversity, rather it is a lack of direction. Direction is of the utmost importance in a community such as this one. Having a large following is not necessary. All you need to do is maintain a consistent quality in your brand. Meghan is neither of these things at this point. There is also Harry to consider. Every time Meghan gets into another sticky situation, Harry is the one who is left to deal with the aftermath. His look conveys more information than any press release could ever hope to convey. In exchange for freedom, he gave up his royal life. On the other hand, this is not freedom. Everything is in disarray with a zip code in California. Friends of his, those who remained after the palace evacuation, are allegedly concerned not just about his image, but also about his peace, his purpose, and his long-term position in whatever this is becoming. This is due to the fact that at the moment, it does not feel like a joint vision. It is as if Meghan is dragging them both through an infinite series of social gambles, hoping that one of them would pay off, but instead of winning, it is simply more headlines, more distance from the life they thought they were choosing, more doors that are barred, and you can feel the shift. Meghan is no longer considered to be a disruptive force. Kris Jenner is not in the business of coping with uncertainty, therefore she is not considered a liability. She is not someone who is shaking up the system, but rather someone who is unable to land inside of it. Control, appearance, and consistency are all essential to her line of work. However, when someone like Meghan arrives up without prior notice, she is unpredictable and has the potential to cause a catastrophe. This is not only about denying her access, rather it is about safeguarding the empire, which does not tolerate disorder in any form. When Harry left the royal family, the world believed he was recovering his voice, but now that voice is scarcely heard over the clamor. Harry appears to be a guy who is stuck in the middle of a reality that he did not sign up for. Meghan continues to create more and more bold headlines that include her name, and she continues to drag his name behind her like luggage. Currently, he is not the main character in this tale. The true sorrow is that he is a co-star in a drama that continues to screen fresh episodes that no one has requested, and that is the actual tragedy. This clean rupture has been turned into a muddy mess as a result of Meghan's pursuit of Hollywood importance, which caused Harry to have the opportunity to redefine himself as something more than merely a prince. The question of what Harry is doing with his newly acquired independence is no longer being asked by others. The question that they are asking is how much longer he can continue to clean up after Meghan's mistakes before something ultimately gives way. Within their circle, there are hushed whispers as well. Those friends who were once supportive are beginning to pull away from one another, not out of hatred, but rather out of exhaustion. Watching someone you care about get locked in a cycle and continue to repeat the same patterns on a regular basis is exhausting. The burning of bridges is no longer Meghan's only concern. They are being transformed into bonfires by her, and Harry's name is being burned on each and every one of them. The saddest aspect is that she still doesn't seem to get it, as evidenced by her tagging of celebrities, her surprise appearances, and her continued promotion of storylines that don't stay. It is as if she is trapped in a dream world where name-dropping is still considered a form of currency. Nevertheless, in the Hollywood of today, nobody is willing to give away relevance for free. You are required to bring something of value. It is necessary to construct something that is genuine, and Meghan, she continues to act as if simply being Meghan is sufficient. Everyone in the public is aware of it. The facade is beginning to fall apart, and while there have always been people who have criticized her, the silence of those who have previously protected her is now more loud than the hatred that even the press has begun to express. The tone is shifting from one of intrigue to one of tiredness, from one of inquiry to one of wince, and the pity is dying out, being replaced by a rising awareness that we have experienced something similar before. This most recent ploy by Kris Jenner has only served to make matters worse, as it is no longer just about Meghan pursuing popularity. Rather, it is about her being denied access by the same people she is attempting to connect herself with. It is no longer a matter of speculation. Rejection is what it is, and in Hollywood, rejection is loud, even when it is silent. In the event that the doors do not open, everyone takes note. This is a turning moment for Meghan, and regardless of whether or not she is aware of it, the tactic of gaining influence through association is not working. Recycled public relations strategies are not producing the desired results, and the image that she is creating is doing more harm than good. What she needs to do in order to stay in the game is to start again from the ground up. She should not focus on making headlines or posting on Instagram. Rather, she should focus on something that is significant. The time is ticking, and in this town, when people stop caring, they don't tell you, they just move on. Film, a business, a cause, something real, something earned, but the clock is ticking. The danger that Meghan is currently flirting with is irrelevance. This is not notoriety or condemnation. Rather, it is just calm, apathetic irrelevance, the kind that cannot be undone by any amount of previous royal shine. When it comes to Harry, everyone is keeping a tight eye on his every action, every attitude, and every journey that he does without Meghan. The reason that everything is broken down is not because he is a royal, but rather because there is a growing issue that nobody wants to express out loud. How much longer can he continue to behave in this manner? For how much longer is he able to maintain his attachment to a story that is no longer beneficial to either of them? It was Meghan's desire to be in the spotlight, but the one she is currently in is not favorable. It is harsh, revealing, and unfiltered. And unless something changes, something severe, she will continue to spiral downward, and Harry may be the one who is forced to find the exit in order to survive the repercussions.